Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to call the October 1st meeting of the not shut down government of West Allis to order. I will ask the clerk to call the roll to determine the quorum.
Alderperson Lysick.
Here.
May.
Here.
Probst.
Here.
Reinke.
Here.
Rote.
Here.
Sangstedt.
Here.
Vitale.
Here.
Weigel.
Here.
Barzak.
Here.
Chapletsky.
Here.
10 present, none excused.
Alderman Lysick will lead us in the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm going to ask Mary Pike from the West Allis Women's Club to join me for a minute. We'll be very brief on this, but I do have a proclamation here that I am going to present to the West Allis Women's Club that is going to proclaim the month of October Domestic Violence Awareness Month in the city of West Allis. It is a widespread problem in our community. It is devastating to our society as a whole, but it's particularly to women and children. And I'm not going to read this entire thing, but I will turn it over briefly to Mary if she wants to make a few brief comments.
Well, first of all, we're very honored on behalf of the West Allis Women's Club to accept this. And we're honored that we're partnering with the city of West Allis in this, especially in times like this. And we're grateful that we were able to display our purple ribbons out there. And we just ask everybody to be aware of the situation. You never know, it doesn't have to be physical. And we would appreciate any help that anybody wants to give. Make sure you find someone. If you know of someone in this particular predicament, either if it's a school-age child, a counselor, a police officer, a good friend, anyone. We just ask everyone to be aware that it is in the community, and we would like everyone to be able to participate in getting rid of this problem. Thank you.
I'm going to ask for a quick 90-second recess to run and take a photograph with the Women's Club if nobody objects. No objections. I'll be right back.
Big mayor.
Probably should have moved to here. They go in Greenfield Park.
That's what your email is.
Adjourned. Can you believe it?
At that age, they can make judgments and
Dan, and why, I don't understand what that's about.
speed differentials and depth perception.
Sure.
And then I said, well, what about? He said some communities put an exception.
Rosalie should be here.
Okay, it's a 3 minute.
I almost got it.
You could leave it up to the officer's discretion.
It's,
Let's just, as far as kids are riding with an adult parent.
Rosalie?
oh,
Quickly.
well, you've been told.
Okay. There we go. All right. Thank you so much.
It made it look good between those one and purple.
Okay, thank you. We will now move on to our public hearings. We have one item. I will ask the clerk to read number 1.
A hearing on an ordinance to amend the official West Dallas zoning map by rezoning property located at 5730 and 5726 West National Avenue from C2 Neighborhood Commercial District to C3 Community Commercial District.
Mr. Stiebel?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On this property, it's currently zoned C2, and we're going to rezone it to C3 to allow a veterans clinic to go in there. It's contiguous with the C3 immediately to the west of it. The additional uses that will be permitted would be catering services, chiropractic, but just clinics. That's what we're really going for here. There used to be a dental clinic in there not that many years ago. And then its special uses, bowling alleys, dry cleaning, and hotel, motel, but certainly not large enough to do that. The abutting neighbor has agreed to the rezoning. The property will remain taxable. It's going to be owned by a for-profit entity and leased to the Veterans Clinic, which is a non-profit. The clinic will also, this is the clinic here on National Avenue, they will be doing some additional landscaping and on the parking lot, which is in pretty sad disrepair. The Plan Commission has reviewed this, has recommended approval, and we've received no objections to date. And this rezoning is consistent with our 2030 comprehensive plan. If you have additional questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Thank you, Mr. Stiebel. Do we have any questions or comments from the council on this item? Seeing none, do we have any questions or comments from the audience on this item? Okay. Seeing none, we will close public hearing number 1, which is our only public hearing. So we will move on to item E on our agenda, which is citizen participation. This is an opportunity for residents to address the council on matters of interest to them. We ask that you keep your comments to 5 minutes, and we ask that you state your name and address for the record and sign in before or after. Thank you.
Hey, Robert Brown. I might mention I do head Stop the Violence, if these women are interested. I am actually, though I'm located in Milwaukee, in the heart of the inner city, where a lot of bad stuff goes on. But most people in West Dallas don't seem to care. I've asked for help over the last 20 years with it, so I just do whatever I do. I thought I'd mention it to you. I do head that group, and, well, you know. Anyway, I'm here tonight, though, over something different. Apparently the aldermen are confused. They think they're cops, the two that live in my district. I'm not going to point them out. I guess you aldermen don't like it when I point the finger at you, so I won't point the finger at my 2 aldermen. But let me tell you what they do. They drive around down the alley, look at my property, and here's what they write. Even though they're an alderman, they're not a cop. And I don't know, I know it ain't part of their job, but they do it anyway. They done it to me. City of West Dallas sanitation recycling violations, and it puts the site at the ordinance number 10.29. Upon inspection, I have talked to the city workers, and apparently the alderman drove down the alley, and here's what he wrote up. Now this fine he wrote up. Remember, the alderman, where's the cop? Better watch out for your job there. You got aldermen writing stuff here. He wrote this up from $10 to $1,000 violation. What did he see? He sees some pictures leading up against the neighbor's garage. My wife, why don't you pass those around to these guys? Yes, listen to this. 20 feet on my property. These signs have been there for 5 years. I protest. And these signs are about as big as the squares in front of as big as this table, or as big as this podium I'm talking on, lean against the neighbor's garage 20 feet from the alley. But the alderman, he says, I want you to see what he says. He wants me to take them to the dump. They're pro-life pictures of aborted babies. Apparently the alderman is pro-choice. He don't care. You don't want people to see about that they murder babies in Milwaukee. They rip them apart. Apparently that don't bother me. He says, let me read what the alderman has dictated to a city worker to write down. And this is a quote. I'm reading from it. Please be advised, you are given 7 days to remedy the aforementioned violations. If the violations isn't corrected in the above specified time period or occurs you may be subject to a forfeiture ranging from $10 to $1,000. Additionally, you may be billed for your refuse recycling pickups and so forth. Here's what he's wrote. This is in ink. Or he had a city, ordered someone to write this. Either bring styrofoam to alley edge with wood before next collection day, or drop it off at the city yard for display. Failure to comply could be dealt with in fines. Thank you. Understand, these signs are this wide, they're 4 foot or 5 foot high. They are pictures of aborted baby. Apparently the aldermen are either blind or apparently they don't know the law. Either you guys think about it. How many feet does a city property extend in a homeowner's property? I can tell you the answer in case the aldermen don't know. Guess what, aldermen? 0 is the answer. 0. Stay out of my yard and tell me what to do with my property. You don't go driving down the alley and tell me what to do. Unless you want to put on a cop's badge or something else. I got news for you. Those signs are sitting right where they're at. They haven't been moved for 5 years. The neighbor don't care. I got a leaning against the garage, and they're going to be there. I'm not moving nothing. You can drive up and down my alley all you want. You can send the sheriff's department. You can do what you want. I'm not moving signs from my property, and I'm very disappointed. Apparently, you've been looking at Obama too much, stretching laws, pushing stuff on people that he ain't supposed to. And
You have 1 minute
Mr.
remaining,
Alderman,
Mr. Brown. You have 1 minute remaining.
do not have a right to tell me what to do in my yard. Second of all, I just want to make notice of this. I filed papers already against the city attorney Murden, a cross-action complaint and a counterclaim, charging her with fraud, deceiving the appellate court. She claims the judge who heard my case that I won gave faulty jury instructions. I got the transcripts. I didn't read it when it was at the appellate court. But he changed his mind and reversed himself on the instructions. And guess what? There were no faulty jury instructions. She misrepresented the truth. You could call it lying. You could call it anything you want. But guess what? I'm not paying. The city of West Allis, wants $1,100 after I won my little jury trial. I had a ticket for $200. I'm not paying it. We're going back and having another trial. And I'm suing her and the city for $4,000.
That's time, Mr. Brown.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Do we have any other participants who wish to address the council under our citizen participation?
Okay, my name is Candace Rico. I came in last week Tuesday, and I was applying for a liquor license to work at a liquor store. When I came in, I did not expect anything like a whole court, like a courtroom kind. I did not expect any of that. I have, in my past, I have had 3 DUIs, and I have changed my life. And I didn't, when I wrote down in the application, if I had any records standing. And I've had, and I put down, my last one was in 2004. I didn't realize that it was going to go all the way back from the first one I had in 97. I'm just stating that I did write emails to councils, and the workplace had written an email also. I've changed my life. I'm trying to move on. I've been struggling. I've waitressed all my life. I've had back surgery. I can't do the things I used to do. And the liquor store is 3 blocks away from my house. I can walk there. We're struggling. We're foreclosing our house. I need a job. And I've been looking for 2.5 years to find something that's okay with not so much lifting, and I made some bad choices in my life. I'm a great mother, I'm a great grandmother. I've participated in West Dallas with my son with baseball, football. My husband coaches, and I'm here I'm a better person. I'm better than that. And I'm just asking if you could please look beyond that.
All right, thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Excuse me, could I get those pictures back?
They went that way. They're probably on the end there. We can get them at recess if you're still here.
No, I have to leave for some other.
Okay. Do we have anybody else that wishes to take part in citizen participation this evening? Okay, seeing none, we will close citizen participation and move on to item F. Our standing committees will be meeting during recess, and those room numbers are on page 1. We'll go on to item G, the mayor's report. I just have a couple things this evening. Last meeting, I had mentioned that a new coffee and sandwich shop had opened in our downtown West Dallas by the name of Urban Joe Cafe. At the time, they had only held their soft opening, but they now have had their grand opening last week, and they are open for lunch, dinner, breakfast. They are between 70th and 71st on Greenfield Avenue. Urban Joe Cafe, sandwiches, soups, things like that, and of course, coffee. I also welcomed an excellent new business to the city called Accessible Wear. They specialize in adaptive clothing for men, women, and young adults with disabilities. They are designed specifically, it's a boutique store for people with physical disabilities, amputees, people in wheelchairs, or people who simply have trouble lifting their arms over their head. They had a nice article in the Journal Sentinel, and this store is located on 110th and National. It's a couple that had this vision. They had seen a lot of things on the internet about buying clothing of this nature, but they said you can never try it on or feel the fabric on a computer screen, so they opened up this store, and it's a really neat addition to the community. Lastly, I just want to remind everybody that this Sunday, October 6th, the Classic Car Show will be held in downtown West Dallas. Over 400 classic cars will line Greenfield Avenue from 10 a.m. till 3 p.m., and there will be food, music, raffle prizes, and Hot Wheel races. That concludes the mayor's report this evening. Do we have any reports from the alder people?
Mayor Devine.
Alderman May.
Coming up here on October 9th is Walk to School Day in the state of Wisconsin and across the United States. And Walker Elementary, the school where my daughter goes to, is going to be participating in that. I think it's a good reminder, you know, when school starts, the older people, police department, we get a lot of calls about people traveling through school zones quickly or impatiently blowing horns at crossing guards and things like that. It's a good reminder that this is a yield to pedestrian state, that when you're on your way to pick up your child from school, that someone else's kid crossing the street, slow down, take it easy, because if that was your kid crossing the street and someone else is blaring on the horn, telling them to get out of the way, you wouldn't appreciate it very much either. So basically, come in full circle, be courteous, be patient with these children as they're crossing the streets, and let's be safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other alder person's comments this evening?
Mayor Devine?
Alderman Weigel.
I had the opportunity this afternoon, and I know at least two of the other aldermen were there at the unveiling of the rest of the plan for the zoo interchange reconstruction. It was, the DOT looks like they're doing a great job with what is going to be a real nightmare for us until 2018. We've been living with construction on Greenfield Avenue and Highway 100 in Wauwatosa and Highway 100 here and Blue Mound and 84th Street. That's really just the beginning. They've been cleaning up all the roads around, and as the project gets more online, there's going to be ramp closures. They're doing a very good job of getting the word out. They have a website. There will be articles in the newspaper about it, on the radio and all that. But citizens just need to be aware that this is going to be a long, cumbersome process for us, and we're just going to have to grit our teeth and get through it. I think it's scheduled to be done in 2018. So buckle up.
Thank you, Alderman Weigel. Do we have any other reports from the Alder people this evening?
Mayor Devine,
Alderman Lysick.
I move, excuse me, I move for approval of the minutes of the Common Council regular meeting of September 17, 2013.
Second.
There's a motion with a second by Alderman Sangstock. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item J on your agenda is items not referred to committee. I will ask for motion to refer item 2 to the city attorney.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Weigel, second by Alderman May. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item K, standing committee reports. Alderman Chaplesky.
Voice is very nice.
I'd like to report on items number 4 through 11 on tonight's agenda. These are various license and reports. They voted for approval or place on file by 3 members with 2 members excused. I'd like to move for adoption of this portion of the committee's report.
Second. There's a motion and a second by Alderman Barzak. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
And then we have number 3. This is an application for bartender's license. It was voted to deny by 3 members with 2 members excused. I'd like to report on the last piece of the committee's report.
Second. For further discussion.
There is a motion with a second by Alderman Barzak. Is there any discussion?
Mayor Devine,
Alderman May?
I was contacted by the applicant. She was here this evening as well for citizen participation. I was also contacted by the liquor store that wishes to hire her. I do understand the situation that the family is going through with nearing foreclosure. They've been trying to find work for the past couple of years to keep their house in good working order. It has been 9 years since the last OWI. I know typically 3 strikes you're out, but she has no wishes or intentions of working at a liquor, at an open liquor place like a bar or a tavern or anything like that. She'd just like to be able to sell liquor from 9 to 2 at Walsh's. That's 9 in the morning to 2 p.m. And I understand we don't have a separate license just for liquor store sales anymore, but I'd like to give this individual a chance.
Thank you, Alderman. Is there any other discussion on the motion?
Mayor Devine.
Alderman
I have a
Reinke?
question regarding the incidents. What part of the application, basically, was she remiss in reporting? What part? It was indicated she only put down one OWI from what the record shows.
Right.
What other record did she have?
Here, there was,
And when?
okay, 97, possession of drug paraphernalia, and then there was 2 other OWIs, 97, operating while intoxicated, causing injury, and 2002.
2002 and 2007? Did I hear you correctly?
2004, there's one here, 2005, but I think that may be the same one, because you get arrested in 2004, and it reads out when you go to court at 2005. So there was 3, 97, 202, and 2005.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Thank you, Alderman. Alderman Vitale?
based on some of the informations, of course, by digesting the fact of the years, that this woman, that occurred, that she failed to put down 2 additional, convictions in regard to the drunken driving. But the fact that is that, I'm kind of weighed the situation in regard the years that occur, if it was maybe 2 years ago, 5 years ago, would been, I was inclined to vote against it. But the more I kind of look back and and see that the time, you know, has been really long time, really, based on the what really occurred then. I'm kind of inclined to give her a chance, really. I mean, if it was something like I said, within the last couple of years, then I would be more skeptical about to vote for, you know. But the years, I think, are kind of. But the only fault that she misunderstood the filing the applications by not putting all of 3 charges. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Alderman Vitale. Is there any other discussion from the council?
Mr. Mayor?
Alderman Weigel.
I think Alderman Vitale might be mistaken. The reason that her license was denied was not for not filling out the application correctly. It was based on her record. 3 drunk drivings, 1 with a causing injury, and a drug possession charge. It was not about her not being completely forthright on the application. It was about her record, so.
Thank you, Alderman Weigel. Any other discussion? Okay, the motion before us is to deny. Seeing no other discussion, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderperson Lysick.
No.
May.
No.
Probst.
No.
Reinke.
No.
Rote.
Aye.
Singstek.
No.
Vitale.
No.
Weigel.
Aye.
Barzak.
No.
Chapletsky.
Aye.
3 in favor, 7 opposed.
Motion fails. We need a motion to,
Mayor Devine?
Alderman Singstek.
I make a motion that the license application, which is subject of this discussion, be approved.
Second.
There's a motion with a second by Alderman Lysick. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderperson Lysick.
Aye.
May.
Aye.
Probst.
Aye.
Reinke.
Aye.
Rote.
No.
Singstek.
Aye.
Vitale.
Aye.
Weigel.
No.
Barzak.
Aye.
Chapletsky.
No.
7 in favor, 3 opposed.
Motion carries. Thanks. Okay, we will now move on to item L. We have a motion for reconsideration.
So
Re-
moved.
Somebody specifically request that?
Rosie moved it.
Aye.
I'm sorry, you move approval?
Move for approval.
Okay, there's a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I'm sorry. It's a motion to reconsider, right?
Reconsideration.
Motion for reconsider.
The motion, there's a second. Any discussion? I'm sorry, I misspoke that.
Sorry. Mayor Devine?
Alderman May.
Usually when something comes back for reconsideration, I like to ask why. I'm curious to know who made the motion.
Let's
and
get it
what-
before us first.
Oh, sorry. We got the motion in the second already, right?
Do we vote on that?
You vote on a motion to
Yeah.
reconsider.
All in favor on the motion to reconsider?
Well, I guess what I want to know is why we're reconsidering it first.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Sure.
Well, Mayor Devine?
Alderman Chapletsky.
I'd like the motion, if the motion be made to reconsider and send back to committee.
Okay.
So we need to discuss that
Okay.
further. And the reason is a partial payment is going to be made, and we want to extend the time for the rest of the payment that we had agreed on originally.
Okay. Will you rescind your motion then, Alderman Ranky?
Yes.
Okay. So the motion to reconsider and send back to committee has been made
Second.
and has been seconded by Alderman Weigel. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Item M, that's all right.
Mayor Devine,
Alderman Lysick.
I move that we stand in recess until conclusion of the committee meetings.
Second.
There is a motion with a second by Alderman Reinke. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? We are in recess.